Well, welcome everyone to today's virtual session. Today we have the pleasure of hosting Angel Truesdale from Atkins Library. I'm going to have her introduce herself in a moment, but she has so many amazing career development resources through the library databases. And a lot of students don't honestly know about these amazing resources. They don't take the time to really dig into them. So it's going to be really valuable for all of you to see what these resources are so that then you'll be able to share them with your students as they have questions around industries, employers, and so much more. But with that, Angel, I'll hand it over to you, and please tell us more about you and your role here at UNCC.
Of course. Thank you so much for the introduction. Like she said, I am Angel Truesdale. I'm the Social Sciences and Business Librarian. I work in the Research and Instruction Department here at Atkins Library. And so I cover the Belk College of Business and Research, the Organizational Science Program, and the School of Professional Studies. So any research or instruction needs with library resources and databases, I am here to be a resource for those areas and more. So, a lot of the librarians in research and instruction, we collaborate across our disciplines in order for us to work together. So, we are pretty interdisciplinary. And so, while I do cover a lot of business and other disciplines, I can cover a whole host of things. We work the research help desk at the information and research desk at the on the first floor of the library, and we manage our collections for the most part. We order things, and I'll talk a little bit about our career collection in a second. And so that's another part of what we do in our department as well. Um, and then lastly, we do teach classes on library research and databases. And so actually next week, I'll have a bunch of classes with some of the business majors who are starting their projects in their Prospect for Success classes for their inquiry projects. So I'm happy to come into any of your classes and talk about any of the career databases that we have here. So any of the resources that I talk about today, I can come to your classes and talk about these resources in more in-depth nature. And I'm also happy to meet with you one-on-one or any of your students to talk about that as well. So we do consultations either through Zoom or in person, whatever way you would like to meet to talk about our resources as well. So we know the Career Center has a lot of resources, so we collaborate with them in order to kind of integrate some of their things in what we have here. And then the library kind of contracts and has our own resources that we have that are kind of more on a different angle, but it's still all here to support our students and our staff and our faculty. And so anything that not only you want to do career exploration wise for your students, but even for yourselves, I am here to be a resource for you as well as the Career Center. I've used the Career Center. I'm an alum. I used the Career Center as a student, as an alum when I graduated, and even coming back here as a faculty member, I've used the Career Center. So I am just happy to be here, and I'll just jump into my presentation. I think I saw some questions maybe. Oh, just a welcome. Okay. And I am very open to taking questions during the actual uh, uh, meeting. So feel free to jump in and just say Angel or type in the chat. I'll try to monitor and actually I'll try to keep the chat open as much as I can. I've got three screens in front of me, so if you see me looking around, that is what I'm doing here. So here's our agenda for today. I'm going to talk a little bit about the career resources we have at the library. I'm going to touch a little bit on the research guide that I've created with my colleague here at the library. And then we're going to jump into some of those databases that we have for career research. And then I'll just do a general Q&A at the end if you have any questions that I wasn't able to answer during the course of the session. All right. So, just as in general, I talked a little bit about this earlier, but I am the research librarian for career services here at the library. I've been here at the library on campus working here for 5.5 years now. And I did some career development and workforce development at the public library for 8 years before I joined here. So that was a natural fit for me here, helping folks with resume writing, their LinkedIn profiles, doing some research for job interviews, and so on. And so this was kind of a natural progression for me. So I am the research librarian. I also work with the electronic resources management librarian, Erica, who helps me with some of the collection management and some of the collection work that we do and the research guide that we have. So just know that there are two of us who work on this particular work that we do in the library with career resources. You'll see a picture to your right here. We do have a career resources collection. We do put the career guide that is published by the Career Center on there, and any materials that they would like us to put out there. Like actually, right now, we do have a couple flyers, or we have a flyer about drop ins for the Career Center as well. And so you'll see that in the first floor of the library, if you come into the what we call the front entrance, it's to the left down the columns there when you come in there. I am very open to giving anyone a tour and to show anyone some of the selections we have in our resources collection. We also have ebooks. So we have started to buy ebooks for this collection as well because some of the books are not published physically, or we found that we need to have more availability for the books and not just have one item available to check out. And so we have those available to check out. So I am going to click on this link and hopefully it takes me there without taking. So hopefully everybody can see, might still see my screen and see the link that it took me to. So here is the career resources collection, and I'm just gonna, okay, great. Thank you, George and Suzanne. So here is the career resources collection. So we have different collections within the library that we have put in here. And we have these sub collections that are by the career communities. So we have the art, media design, the business, financial services, logistics, and so on. So we have broken these up by that. So we've tagged them there. But as you can see, we do have these different books here. So if you want to browse the books without coming to the library, you can do that online as well. And then you can request the books to be put on hold for you. Or again, if you do just want to come in person. But you'll see this book here, Understanding Careers Around the Globe, Stories in Source Book. This one doesn't say book print underneath it. And so that's how you know that it is an ebook. And if you click on the book here, in the middle here, it'll say that online access available. So you'll see where you can click on the link. In either of these links, you'll be able to get access to that ebook there. For a book that is in print, so let's look at this Career Forward Strategies from Women Who've Made It. If you wanted to request that book, you would have to be logged in, and then there would be a request link right next to where it says where the book is located. If we did not have the book in or it was checked out, you could request the book via interlibrary loan. All right, hopefully I'm back on my presentation and you can see the presentation now. If you have a recommendation for our career resources collection, please let me know. I am always open. We do have a small budget for these ebooks and physical items. And so I would love to hear any of your suggestions, especially if they're discipline specific. So there are a number of books that we try to have based on nursing careers or computer career, computer science, cybersecurity, or the humanities. We have a number of books, especially for me in business and finance, in the sciences. So we do try to have a lot of discipline specific books. So if there's anything that you come across or is anything that you are teaching toward in your courses that you would like to have access to, please make any recommendations you can to me. So that's just a simple email to me, and we'll see about availability. There's no guarantees, but we try to do our best when we can to put things in the collection when the requests are made. And this is just a general blanket reminder that for any of your subject liaison librarians that are on campus, we all have very small budgets, but we do have budgets to be able to order books and materials, journals, different things like that in order to in order to get items for you that are discipline specific for your particular courses and your students. So if there are some things that you feel that should be in our collection, please let me know or any of the other research librarians that may be already servicing or serving your particular area. All right. Any questions? Okay, I just glanced at the chat. All right, so here is a link to our research guide. Pretty simple here, guides.library.charlotte.edu/career. The library's website is is right there in the middle, library.charlotte.edu. If you ever have any questions or you want to just browse what we have in the library. But I'm going to click on this, but we have some resources, databases, and some of the books here that you can get to. And we do have some of those items limited or sectioned out by those career communities. So we have definitely tried in collaboration to put those based on those different disciplines within the Career Center. So I'm going to go to our guide here. So here's our guide here. We have our lovely picture of our career resources collection again here. At the bottom, we have some information about the Career Center. So definitely want to make sure that you have information on that. We do have other research guides. So we have developed a letters of recommendations guide. And then we do have, just in general, a guide about our electronic resources that have been linked here at the bottom of our guide. Try not to scroll too fast. We are going to come back to the Explore Resources page in a second. We do have some items on the career competencies here. And then we do have those career communities page. So we have an introduction page here. And then each of those career communities has a page here. So you'll see for the arts, media, and design page, there's some information here. And then you'll see that there's those different subgroups, there's sub collections for those books at the bottom here. And those are linked into the guide as well. So if you're looking for an easy way to get to them beyond that link that's in the presentation, you can go directly to the guide here as well. Down the right-hand side here, you'll see different online resources that are available to those particular career communities. And then some of the databases that are discipline specific to those career communities, so to those subject areas. So what we've done is we pulled out some of those databases that are relevant to those areas, and we popped those into this career guide for those communities as well. One thing you'll note here in the middle is we have linked to our our to our catalog. And what you can see is if you click on the vocational books for that particular item, you can see that it links to a bunch of books that might be relevant to that particular even smaller topic within that subject area. So that is just some of those subject headings that we use in the library, in our catalog, our online search. And so you can use that to get directly to some of the books as well in our catalog. I just want to show you for each of these, they have their own page. So business and financial services and logistics has one as well. Engineering, manufacturing, and energy. Healthcare, science, and research. Social impact, education, and nonprofit. And then technology, data, and analytics has one as well. So the one that we do struggle with sometimes the most is technology. So we do definitely want to get as many books as we can and many resources as we can in that area. So you see that some of these are ebooks, some of these are print books, but we would like to expand on that subtopic, that sub collection as much as we can. All right, any questions before we go on? Let's see. Okay, all right. So here are just a sample, or actually, these are the databases I'm going to go through today. We have a list of databases on the um, the resource guide that I just showed you, but these are just the ones I'm going to go through today. And so I've linked them here in the research guide, but or sorry, in the presentation. But I just want, there are several others in the research guide, but I wanted to focus on some of these today, and especially EBSCO Learning Express and the Ferguson's Career Guidance Center, and then the Career and Technical Education database down here as well. And then we're going to do a little bit of company research with Mergent Online and Data Axle in just a second. All right, so let me come out of here completely, and then let's go back to our research guide. So on Explore Resources, we do have our top two databases for career exploration at the top here. So I'm going to jump into EBSCO Learning Express here. And the first thing to know is that this is a database that requires a login, a sign in. And so I automatically definitely encourage you to register for this database before you even kind of jump into things, because to access most things in here, you do have to be registered. I'm going to show you everything without signing in, without registering today, but I just want to encourage you, if you feel like there's anything in here that might be useful for you, to go ahead and register an account and have that here. So I did click on the college library because this is used by a lot of public libraries as well. And this actually is used by a lot of high schools along with public libraries in order to um, uh, get some information about college prep and stuff like that. But it's also used for career preparation. So you'll see our tab here, Career Prepped here. So you can learn about a career. So I do have one of my best friends is actually a legal mediator. So if you click on one of the links here, that's under some of this, and there's more than this in here. This is just kind of the highlights. So become a legal mediator. This actually brings up an ebook about becoming a legal mediator here, and you'll see it says sign in and register, and that's where you'll get kind of a little bit more robust information about that particular topic. Oh, sorry. I clicked on my centers here, and so you can see it's a lot of more of those information here. So if you were just like, what popped up just now? And so down here, you can see build workplace skills. So this is actually good for some of those tutorials that are in the database and some of the other things to build those skills, whether it be for your students or for yourself as well. So these go from very basic, you can see keyboarding, to some of the even just like email etiquette, workplace etiquette, time management, and even business writing. So I definitely feel like that is going to be something that your students and even some people in the workplace today might want a little bit of training on. We also have some things over here for social networking, especially if you're looking for LinkedIn. I know the Career Center provides a lot of support with LinkedIn profiles and using LinkedIn. But if you want to do some self-paced learning on that, you can do that here. Job interviewing, job searching, all that good stuff, salary negotiation, that's always important for us here. And then especially for students who are going into their first salary negotiations, I know that that is really important. Resumes and covers as well. One thing that this database does really well too is it has a lot of that, um, not just college prep, but exam prep for those different careers. And it also has becoming a U.S. citizen information here as well. and even stuff on becoming a Canadian citizen. So I mentioned some of those exams for those specific careers. And so air traffic controller, allied health and social worker exams, civil service exams. So the library does not carry any of the books anymore. That's kind of like LSTAT or GRE, any of those books anymore because they have been stolen over the years. And so a lot of those exam preps, we will they do a much better job here. They're more updated here. And so we push students and yourselves, any of our staff and faculty, to this resource for those exams prep here. So you can see there's a lot of different here, and there's even more than what's listed here. I helped someone out with a particular exam in this database pretty recently as well. If there isn't an exam in this database, we do explore the option of getting those exam prep books or another resource in the library. Again, it just depends on the cost and availability that we have. Um, in the library. We recently had someone reach out who wanted to explore project management, the PMP exam resource, and we were able to get a resource for them for their project management exam. So it's just a matter of asking and just seeing if we can get something for you in that regard. All right, so that is, oh, actually, I'm trying to think, is that all I wanted to show? Oh, also, again, I was talking about the LSAT and GRE. We do have those graduate school admissions preparations in this database as well. So I did want to point that out here as well. So for my grad students, or for some of you who may be considering getting a degree in one of the UNC schools, we do have some of those exam prep um, options here as well. All right. So I'm going to look at, actually, I'm going to go to online resources here. I'm going to look at Ferguson's Career Guidance Center as well, which is very similar to the Learning Express Center for EBSCO. So you can actually explore careers on this first tab here. They have a lot of interviews that are really great, a lot of videos. The previous database has a lot of tutorials as well, but this database has a lot of those interviews about specific to certain careers. And I think this is great for some of the students and folks who are transitioning careers who may be thinking about, what does a special education teacher do? Or what is a green builder? I'm very interested in that. And so if they're going into an interview or they're thinking about changing careers, if they're an adult student, different things like that, this is great career exploration as well. You'll see under Explore Careers back up at the top here, you can research different industries. I like this computer software one. If we click here, it gives you an overview, but if you scroll down the side here, you get that overview, background. You can even click and look at the structure. So this gives you an industry um, report basically on that particular for this one for computer software. So we have industry outlook, some learn more resources, right? So some of those definitions and even resources and associations. So let's say that I was thinking about getting into computer software. Maybe I want to think about joining IEEE Computer Society, and I have different information about that particular association here. So really great information there as well. Okay. Oh, the time is getting away from me. Okay. Um, that is Ferguson's career. I also want to talk about the Career and Technical Education Database, which is a great resource. Oh, that page isn't supposed to show up, but okay, that's totally fine. Um, One of the things that you might want to look at is particular um, different scholarly research and reports about a particular profession. So I'm going to look at commercial real estate as actually, I'm going to look at cybersecurity and see what that gives me. And so what this does is it actually is a research database where you can look at different topical areas for a particular industry, a particular profession, a particular career. You can also use this database to actually look at different things. In a subject area that might come up for, let's say, how is AI impacting cybersecurity? So this is where we want to use our keywords, our research skills in order to look at that. So over here, I might want to look at this towards security quantification of serverless computing. This is in the Journal of Cloud Computing here. I can click on my full text PDF, download that, and I'm good to go. And that is my research article based on my particular topic there. So that is the Career and Technical Education Database. Really great information. One thing to point out is down the left-hand side here is all of your filters that you can use. So it is going to always give you the most recent articles first, but you might want to limit it by relevance. And then you can see the source types here. So scholarly journals, look at that number we have there. Um, we have one book on the topic, newspapers, magazines, trade journals, and even more. We can take it down and look at the different publication time, date, sorry, and then even more options for us to limit down the side here. If you want more in-depth research um, uh, tutorials or skills, definitely let me know and we can dive deeper into this database and what it all has to offer. All right. And then the last few databases I want to talk about is I'm going to put on my business um, librarian hat is to talk about some of the industry and company research databases that we have here. And one that is really great here is I've linked directly to an actual publication that we have. These first research industry profiles are really great. Um, it's a really great publication for um, looking at an industry as a whole and preparing for an interview. So if I click on commercial real estate here, you can see that it gives me, I want to do most recent first here. I have a commercial real estate management, a quarterly update from just this week. So this is really great information. And you'll see that this company, Dun& Bradstreet, actually is out of Fort Mill, South Carolina. So just across the border here. I'm going to click on this full text PDF here, and you'll see that this first first research industry profile, again, published just this week. And it gives me a nice, again, kind of similar to what we looked at in Ferguson's, an industry overview, competitive landscape. So these are great ways for students and other people who are going into an interview to jot down notes, to talk about the industry as a whole and how they can relate to their education to the industry and where they're going into. So products, operations, technology. I'm going to scroll down a little bit more. There's a part about human resources here that we can look at the average hourly wages for the particular industry, some statistics, the growth rating. So right now for commercial real estate, as you can imagine, the growth is about medium, and you can see that the demand, it depends on occupancy levels, the needs efficient operations, effective customer service, and the risk really right now is the changes in local economic conditions. So I definitely feel like you're walking into an interview and you're saying, you know what, according to an industry report, the risk to this industry right now is the changes in local economic conditions. How are you or how is your company addressing that? I have even more further down in this industry excuse me, profile that we can look at with that as well. So, industry drivers, some of those critical issues, some of the challenges and trends and opportunities. This executive insight is talking about what are the different areas for those different executives that they are looking at right now. So, in that interview, you might be like, I know your chief financial officer might be looking at this. Maybe that person is looking to work in finance for a commercial real estate. They're not actually going to be a realtor for that commercial real estate company, but they're looking to be in the finance department for that company. And so they're thinking maybe I can talk toward the what might be of concern to the financial chief financial officer. So different things on the executive there, some conversation starters for those executives. And if we scroll down, we have these call prep questions. And when they say to you in an interview, do you have any questions for us? Or what questions do you have for us? These are the great questions that they can pull from that are industry specific, that are unique. So, how does the company respond to downturns in the economy? What step does the company take to satisfy both owners and tenants? How does the company manage vendor relationships? So, these call prep questions are really great questions that students and anyone else can walk into these interviews with to really kind of ask these industry related questions, and they can be prepared for that question in their industry in their interview. And I really love these. I've used this with several students who are just like, I don't know where to start. I don't even know what I can think about and what I could talk about. And I even tell them sometimes, use some of the answers to these questions in in your introduction. When they say, "Tell me about yourself or why you're interested in this particular job," you can use some of these answers and say, you know what, this might be a challenging field, but I'm one of those people, I am invigorated, I'm excited about challenges, blah, 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 you know. So I really feel like that's a great resource there. And that is those first research industry profiles we have here linked on the research guide here. Okay, I'm going to speed through the last few here so we have some time for questions. Actually, I'm not going to show Merge Online. It's our company database for large public companies. So that's a great way to look up some of those, the Bank of Americas, the Wells Fargos, the large public companies. You can look in that one. I was going to show that one, but I actually want to show Data Axle, which is really great here. This is great for small businesses. It is a business directory, among other things. There are so many other different modules you can look at here in Data Axle, but at its very core is a business directory. And what it does is it gives us some very targeted information about the companies that we're looking at. So I am going to look at Bank of America, but I'm going to look at a particular branch in Charlotte for Bank of America. So I'm going to do Bank of America in Charlotte, North Carolina. And I'm going to look at a branch on South Tryon, the second one here that's managed by Kimberly Cole here. So let's say I have an interview with this branch. I get some general information at the top here, but potentially some of the jobs that they're hiring for, some good information, some background. So just imagine this is a small business. I know I chose Bank of America, but just imagine this is a small business. A lot of the information in Data Axle is self-reported. So this is information that has been garnered either by phone call or email by the actual researchers in the database. So I get even a management directory. So you can see Kimberly Coles here, Mark Johnson, Tony. So I get some good information there. The other thing that we can scroll down here and look at is some of the expenditures. They are estimated, but it is good just to know some of these information, these types of information about the company. I get the sales volume by year. And then I also get the number of employees. So for this particular branch, as of 2024, there are 15 people who work in this branch. And so if I'm coming in and I'm talking about how I can enhance or grow this particular business, and I see that you have 15 employees and that you've grown from 11 to 15 the last year, maybe there's something that I can deduce there that I can say in regards to that particular branch or small business there. So that is just one of the things that I wanted to point out with that database as well. So many more on this page. We do link out Value Line and Morningstar, which are our investment databases. So you can look at the kind of financial health for those particular companies as well. Again, for our public companies, publicly traded companies. And so that can be really great information walking into an interview as well. And just for your own research purposes to know, do I want to work for this company? Are they viable? We do have some information about how they're doing with their governance and social outlook. How are they contributing back to their communities and stuff like that in there? So that's really great information as well. So I am going to stop there. Let's see. Can I stop sharing? Oh, where's my little? Okay, here we go. I am going to stop there and I am going to put my email address into the chat and just take some any questions that you may have.